Welcome back to Pit Perspective. I'm your host, Roger Sherman, pitmaster and owner of the District Pit Barbecue Catering Company in Washington, D.C., coming to you from the O Street Mansion. My guest today is Dr. Vincent Walford, staff psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania, focusing on trauma and anxiety. You might be wondering why I have Dr. Walford on my show today. Well, it's kind of simple. It's been over a year since the CDC designated COVID-19 as a worldwide pandemic, and we experienced lockdowns and we've experienced death. So I thought it was a good idea to have Dr. Walford on to kind of talk to us a little bit about what he sees during the pandemic. It's been difficult for all of us, but it's been a little bit more difficult for some of us. And Dr. Walford has had the opportunity to work with some of those individuals who have had a little bit more difficult time dealing with this global pandemic. So Vincent, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I'm going to kind of back out of your way a little bit here. Talk to me just a little bit about the psychology of the pandemic and what people are dealing with and how you are able to address those needs and help individuals with those problems.
Yeah. So like you said, Roger, we are coming up, we just passed a year of the COVID-19 and lockdown, and so one of the things that a lot of individuals have had to adjust to is their new life. As you see, we're wearing masks right now for our interview. Individuals have lost jobs. People have lost loved ones to the pandemic, and so a lot of people are just finding ways to try to adjust to their new norm. So that's been very anxiety provoking, and a lot of people have been experiencing a lot of mental health concerns around that. And so one of the things that I like to work with individuals on is to help them find that new norm and try to find positive coping mechanisms to work in this pandemic. Try to find things that you enjoy and continue to do those. So, you're a pit master, and so I've been watching a lot of your videos, and it seems like your presentations have gotten better and better just because now you have more time to do that.
Practicing them all the time.
Right, exactly. And so, and I encourage people to do that. And even a lot more people are starting to have to, like call people, and whereas it would be at times, like, hey, let's meet up for brunch on Sunday. You can still do that. Let's do it on Zoom though, so we're all safe.
You've had an interesting experience during the course of the pandemic. You were previously in Texas, working in Texas, and you recently, during the pandemic, moved to Philadelphia to work for the University of Pennsylvania. And you're working 100% remotely.
Right.
So you have not had the opportunity to move to a new city and meet new people.
Right.
You moved to a new city and you have not had the opportunity to meet any of your coworkers. You haven't met in person with any of your clients.
Right.
How has that transition in life and in business been for you?
Yeah, so one of the things that I've been doing to get more involved with my with Penn is to set up Penn lunches, and so every day I have a new lunch with one of my colleagues, and we kind of get to talk and just share about each other, and even with the clients, I let them know up front that, hey, I'm new to Penn, I'm still learning the system. But it's not going to impede on my work because I still can do the work. And even with just my neighborhood, I've been getting out and taking drives just to see what's around. Thankfully and prayerfully, I know people who live in Philadelphia.
Okay.
So I've been able to connect with them, and they've been able to tell me places to go and individuals to connect with. I'm bald, of course, but I get my beard trimmed, so I've been able to. I like my new barber. He's been great. I've been going to a lot of great restaurants and getting takeout, so that's been good too. So I haven't missed a meal. So yeah, and I will say my orientation into Penn was even different because everything was on Zoom, and I'm sitting in my house, with a business shirt up top and shorts and flip-flops on the bottom.
Yes.
So, and really, to be honest with you, Roger, what's going to be an adjustment for me is when we have to go back into person.
Yes, and dress up.
Dress up and drive. And I know we're all ready to get back to our normal life. There are parts of kind of this virtual world that I have gotten used to that now is going to be an adjustment once we have to go back in person.
That's gonna be a tough one for me as well. But you know, I figure that is a difficulty that we'll navigate with a little bit of happiness.
Right.
Just a little bit of happiness.
Yeah.
So this is nominally a food show. So I wanted to get into a couple of culinary things with you. You're from Texas.
Yes.
You currently reside in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Your father is a barbecue chef.
He is Povic's Barbecue.
Yes. So shout out to Povic's. So we've had some conversations
Right.
about that. So you know Texas barbecue and you know it pretty well. Now that you've moved to Philadelphia and Texas barbecue is not within arm's reach of you, where have you been in Philadelphia and what do you like?
Oh man, I want to give a shout out to District Pitt.
Thank you.
I will get my first plate today, and I've been waiting and salivating for this barbecue for a while. But I have been to a pub in Philly that's pretty good. They had the best chicken strips that I've had. I cannot remember the name of it, or else I would shout that out. But I also went and had a cheesesteak. I think that's what they call it, a cheesesteak close by. And again, like I can't remember the name. But there's a pizza place right around the corner from me, and they have. And so I was asking about, I'm new in town, it's walking distance. What are some good food y'all have? And they said, well, we actually have a good buffalo chicken cheesesteak. And I said, I'll try it. Amazing.
Okay,
and
that sounds
amazing.
good.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah. I had the peppers and the banana peppers on it, bell peppers, all that stuff. So it was great. It was great. Yeah. But I'm really excited for this District Pitt barbecue.
We got a good plate for him today. I think he'll be happy. So let's talk a little bit about Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
When I talk Texas barbecue, because I do all kinds of barbecue because DC doesn't have its own style of barbecue. So I'll cook any type of barbecue. Texas barbecue is basically beef based.
Yeah.
That's really what they speak to. There's not a lot of sauce associated with it. It's mostly just rub.
Yeah.
This might be a question that you can't answer because I know it's your father's company and it's not your company. But tell me a little bit about your father's style of barbecue.
Oh yeah. So my dad is somebody who. So first of all, it's a process of just setting up for barbecue. So what he does, he gets these wood chips and he'll dip the wood chips and he'll let them soak, and then he'll put them in the pit, and then he'll put the charcoal and he'll make sure the charcoal gets white before he puts the meat on, and then he's already seasoned and let the meat marinate, and then he'll put the meat on there and slow cook it, and I mean, I'm telling you, the meat just falls off the bone. He's into and I hate to say this out loud, but I'm not a big chicken on the bone fan.
Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Stop. So you don't like chicken on, so you're a what do you like, deboned thighs, or what do you, deboned breast?
Well, I like the breast. I like white meat.
Okay.
But I like it without the bone.
All right. Well, okay. To each his
But
own. To each his own.
I do eat chicken on the bone. Just to
Well, just so we're clear, today you're eating chicken on the bone. that's what you're getting today.
Okay,
that's what you're getting
and
today.
I will eat it. But so he does that, and then like you said, a lot of chopped beef, briskets, and those type of things. And then my dad makes his own barbecue sauce. Actually, I can't say the.
Of course you can't.
The ingredients,
you can't.
But it's pretty good.
That'll get you thrown out of the family.
Right, exactly. So
what's his best cut of meat according to you?
I would say his beef ribs.
Okay.
I think they're very good.
Beef ribs, you think is his favorite thing. So I like to cook beef ribs a lot. The way I like to do beef ribs, I mean, I smoke them about 5 or 6 hours. I'll wrap them for probably the last hour just to get them good and tender, and they creep up the bone, and you've got that big exposed bone where you can grab it and take a big bite out of it. But sometimes when I do them in to-go platters, I actually have to cut them off the bone, otherwise they won't fit into the platter. Does he serve them bone in? I mean, is he caveman style with them?
Yeah, caveman style.
That's the way you do it.
Yeah.
Like if you are doing a catering event with me, you're gonna get the whole bone. Good for your dad. So how long has he been doing it?
I think he's been doing it for at least about a good 6 to 7 years.
Okay.
I think it ended up becoming it was a hobby for him, And then all of a sudden, he just was like, people started really liking him.
Good.
And so we have, a lot of family friends by the barbecue for him. And then, of course, now his neighbors, a lot of his coworkers. So it's a slow process. And so, I'm hoping and praying when he retires, this is something that he can do full time and just really enjoy it. And so, I'm definitely encouraging him. Our family is encouraging him to do that.
So I want to talk to you one more thing about Philadelphia. You may or may not have had this experience up there yet when you ordered your cheesesteak.
Okay.
There's like a process to
Right.
ordering the cheesesteak. The first time, my wife is from Philadelphia, so the first time I went, she explains to me all the rules associated with ordering a Philadelphia cheesesteak, most of which I have forgotten and have to be reminded when we
Right.
go up to Philly. But she wanted to watch me stumble through this. I was like, well, why don't you just order for me? She's like, no, this is the part of the experience. So you got to order, it's got to be with or without, and that means onions or not onions, and there's a whole bunch of other rules. When you went through that process, did you screw it up?
So I'll have to say I cheated. One of my coworkers told me how to order when you go to the restaurant.
Okay.
And so I was, as soon as she said, before she could say with or without, I said with.
Okay.
And so, and then I asked if she could clarify what with meant at their actual restaurant. She's like, oh, that usually means with onions and peppers and all this other stuff. And so the one thing I will say, like I'm a big ranch dressing person. And so my mother and I, my mother was in town, and so we went together. So we got ranch, but there's a sauce, I guess, that you can ask to get with it. Which I wish I would have known that, because the sandwich was really good, or the cheesesteak was really good, but it needed just a little bit something else. And I just don't know what that something else was, but I think if this sauce had been on it, it would have been perfect.
So I'll get you out of here on this, man. I want to ask you one more professional question.
Yeah.
If somebody is out there struggling with trauma,
Yeah.
struggling with anxiety, whether it be associated with the pandemic or not, what is the first piece of advice you would give to somebody on the street? Not necessarily a client, but if you're talking to somebody, you got 30 seconds to give them some advice. What advice would you give them?
Yeah, first of all, I like to normalize everything, right? So a lot of times what people say that they're feeling, they think that they're feeling it, they're the only people that are feeling it. And so I first normalize their feelings. Second, I try to link them with somebody or organization that's local, that's around mental health. And that can mean a lot of things. A lot of these organizations, these family organizations are free. A lot of them take insurance. And then there's some people who say, I can just pay. But I talk to them about the benefits of therapy. And I think, and just how important it is, that I would say all of us need a therapist. I mean, really, all of us need a therapist,
Sure.
Me included, and the reason why I say that is because life can be so hard, and now that we're in a pandemic, it's been a lot of transition and a lot of new that we're all just trying to manage. And so having that extra person to talk to and just be open.
So if you're out there struggling with trauma issues or anxiety issues, Dr. Vincent Wofford has given you some advice. Go find somebody to talk to, start the process there, and then let it grow from that point. So I want to thank Dr. Vincent Wofford for joining us on the show today. Great advice, a little bit of talk about barbecue and some Philadelphia food staples. I'd like to thank the Mansion on O Street for hosting us for our interview today. And if you're looking to follow us, we're Pitt Perspective on YouTube, on IG, at District Pitt, and on Facebook, The District Pitt. So once again, thanks for watching the show, and have a great day.
Stormy Monday blues. Y'all had a stormy couple of days.